Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this tiramisu chocolate cake. This is a combination between tiramisu and chocolate cake. It has amazing flavors like chocolate, coffee, mascarpone that all work so well together. It starts off with a layer of moist chocolate cake, then a layer of coffee dipped ladyfingers, then a layer of super easy to make mascarpone whipped cream frosting. So let's get started. First thing that we're going to do is prepare the chocolate cake. In a medium-sized bowl, combine all of your dry ingredients. This includes all-purpose flour, some cocoa powder, some sugar, baking soda, baking powder, and some salt. Use a whisk to give everything a good mix. The entire written recipe with tips and tricks and step-by-step instructions as well as the printable recipes available on my website, thefoodflamingo.com, and you can find a link to that in the description box below. Next, we're going to add in the wet ingredients, which includes buttermilk, some vegetable oil, an egg, and some vanilla extract. Whisk until it's combined, and the batter may feel a little bit thick at this point, and this is completely normal. Next, we're going to add in some hot coffee. I just use instant espresso, but you can also brew your own coffee. If you don't want to use coffee, you could also use just plain water, but what coffee does is enhances the flavor of chocolate, making it more prominent when you eat the cake. Give that a good mix until the batter is fully incorporated, and this will be a bit runny. Don't worry, that's completely normal. We're going to pour all of the batter into a greased 7-inch cake pan. I also lined the bottom with parchment paper. Bake at 175 degrees Celsius for about 30 to 35 minutes. While the cake bakes, let's make the mascarpone whipped cream frosting. In a medium-sized bowl, combine together some room temperature mascarpone cheese, some powdered sugar, a little bit of salt, and some vanilla extract. You want to make sure that your cheese is at room temperature, otherwise it's going to be difficult to beat into the whipped cream. And if you don't have mascarpone, or if it's difficult to find where you live, you can always use cream cheese instead. I've tried this with cream cheese and it tastes just as good. Next, we're going to add in some cold, heavy whipping cream. This is cream that has a fat percentage of 35% or higher. If you use a cream that has less fat percentage than 35%, it will not whip up into stiff peaks. Now I'm going to use the electric mixer on high speed and continue to beat this until stiff peaks form. This takes about 4 to 5 minutes depending on the strength of your mixer. You can definitely whip this by hand using a whisk, but keep in mind that it's going to take much longer. This frosting is so simple to make and it's so good. The flavor of mascarpone and whipped cream together is amazing, and you can definitely use this recipe for other cakes. Use a spatula to clean the sides of your bowl, and then we're going to pop this into the refrigerator until we're ready to assemble the cake. Next, let's prepare the coffee. In a small bowl, combine your coffee. I'm using instant espresso and hot water, and then I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. Give that a good mix, and we're going to set this aside to cool down. Once the cake is baked, let that cool down in the pan for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then use an offset spatula to run it down the sides of the cake just to release it from the pan, and then carefully flip it out onto a plate. As you can see, the cake is so moist and fluffy, which is why we're going to use a thread to cut it in half to make 2 slices. Take a serrated knife or even a regular knife and create an outline all around the cake in the halfway point where you're going to cut the slice. Then use the thread to cut the cake using that outline that you just made. You can also use this hack for any type of cake. Now that all the components are ready, let's assemble this cake. Place your first cake layer on a cake stand or serving tray and put your cake ring over it and tighten it to fit the cake. If you don't have a cake ring, you can also assemble this cake in a springform pan. Next, we're going to add the layer of ladyfingers. Carefully dip your ladyfingers in the coffee. You want to make sure to dip both sides and then place that on top of the chocolate cake layer. Repeat this process until you've covered the entire top of the cake, and you can use as many ladyfingers as you need, and you can even break them in halves or quarters to make them fit. Next, we're going to add half of the mascarpone whipped cream frosting on top of the ladyfingers. Then use an offset spatula or a spoon to spread that out as evenly as you can. Next, this is optional, but I just like to sprinkle a layer of cocoa powder on top. Next, add the last layer of chocolate cake, and I like to add it upside down just so that the top is nice and flat and we don't have any crumbs going into the frosting that's going to be on top. Lastly, add all of the remaining mascarpone whipped cream frosting and then use an offset spatula to spread that out as evenly as you can. This next step is the hardest step, which is to let this cake chill in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours or preferably up to overnight, just to allow everything to set. It's the next day and the cake has set, so let's finish this. What I'm going to do is dust the top with a generous amount of cocoa powder, and you always want to make sure to add the cocoa powder after the cake chills. Do not add this before the chilling step, or else the cocoa powder gets wet and turns a dark brown color, which does not look as pretty. Next, I'm going to carefully remove the cake ring and look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now all you have to do is slice and enjoy. Remember to wipe your knife after each cut if you want to achieve that clean, flawless look that is going to show off all those beautiful layers. And there you have it. Your tiramisu chocolate cake or chocolate tiramisu cake, however you want to put it, is ready to go. This is honestly the best thing ever because I love tiramisu, and when you put that with chocolate cake, it is a match made in heaven. Coffee and chocolate work so well together, and the mascarpone whipped cream frosting works even better with the chocolate. This is one of my favorite cakes after my Matilda chocolate cake. It is honestly amazing. The written recipe again is available on my website, thefoodflamingo.com, and you can find a link to that in the description box below. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe for more easy and delicious recipes just like this one. Like the video if you liked it, and comment down below if you tried this recipe or if there's anything else you'd like me to make. And as always, thank you so much for watching.